The ripping sound reverberated through the bank lobby like thunder. Marcus Bennett, branch manager at First National Bank's premier location, had just shredded a $45,000 check before a teenage girl of 16, tossing the fragments into the wastebasket with the contempt of someone disposing of worthless trash. "Young lady, how naive do you think I am?" Marcus snarled, straightening his designer tie while staring at the young woman with disdainful eyes. "Someone like you walking in here with a check of this magnitude? It's clearly fraudulent." Jasmine Thompson stood perfectly still, her dark eyes radiating a composure that starkly contrasted with the moment. At 16, she'd encountered such stares throughout her life. However, this particular Tuesday afternoon would prove to be unlike any other, dramatically different. "Mr. Bennett," she spoke with a steadiness that caught even the watching receptionist off guard. "That check is for my Harvard tuition. The Stevens Academic Foundation issued it." Marcus released a harsh laugh that drew attention from other patrons. "Ha ha ha ha! Harvard? Listen here, miss. I don't know where you obtained that document, but I recommend you leave immediately before I summon security and law enforcement." What Marcus failed to realize was that 3 weeks prior, Jasmine had gained acceptance as the youngest student in Harvard's pre-medical program with complete financial support, an achievement only 5 individuals accomplish annually across the nation. The check he'd just destroyed covered administrative costs sent directly by the university. Jasmine inhaled deeply, recalling her mother's guidance. "Sweetheart, someday you'll encounter individuals who'll attempt to diminish you solely due to your skin color. When that occurs, preserve your dignity. Truth always emerges victorious." She observed Marcus pocket his phone after capturing an image of the shredded check, likely to share with coworkers later as another fraud prevention story. The 52-year-old executive, with his pompous stance and mocking grin, remained oblivious to the bank's security cameras recording everything. "May I receive a security incident report copy?" Jasmine requested evenly. "A report? For what purpose? To display to your housekeeping mother how you attempted to deceive the bank?" Something glacial flickered through Jasmine's gaze. Not anger, but resolve. "Mr. Bennett, my mother isn't a housekeeper, though if she were, that wouldn't diminish my right to respectful treatment." Marcus gestured dismissively toward the security officer. "Remove this girl from the premises. If she returns, don't permit entry." Walking toward the exit, Jasmine retrieved her phone and typed a brief text. "Mom, urgent conversation needed. Exactly what you predicted has occurred, but this time they've challenged the wrong daughter." Outside, she gazed upward at the towering bank structure, its reflective glass mirroring the azure afternoon sky. Momentarily, any passerby might have assumed defeat, yet closer inspection would reveal something distinct in her expression. Not despair, but the calculated calm of someone who just acquired all necessary ammunition for a battle the adversary didn't realize had commenced. That evening, an emergency session would convene, a gathering that would transform not merely Marcus Bennett's existence, but the bank's entire institutional culture. Because certain actions in life are unforgivable, and dishonoring the wrong person's child tops that list. 2 hours following the confrontation, Marcus Bennett continued entertaining colleagues in the staff lounge with photographs of the destroyed check fragments. "You should have seen her expression when I mentioned calling the authorities," he chuckled, consuming his 3rd afternoon coffee. "These youngsters believe they can deceive us with printed documents." Unknown to Marcus, 3 levels above, First National Bank CEO Catherine Lee was receiving a phone call that would alter everything. A composed, measured voice stated, "Ms. Lee, your branch humiliated my daughter today. An immediate conference is required." Meanwhile, Jasmine traversed downtown streets, her phone buzzing persistently. Her Harvard advisor, Professor Lisa Anderson, coincidentally sharing Marcus's surname, was calling. "Jasmine, we couldn't complete your registration. The bank rejected payment. What transpired?" "A misunderstanding occurred, Professor, but resolution will come quickly, very quickly." Truth was, Jasmine had mastered maintaining poise under duress early. At 8, when parents challenged her presence at the elite school where she'd earned a scholarship, she heard her mother declare, "Darling, individuals will attempt to minimize you throughout life, but remember, diamonds form under intense pressure." At 12, when educators doubted her exceptional chemistry scores, she simply intensified her studies and captured the state science championship. At 14, when they claimed someone of her age and circumstances could never access Harvard, she doubled her dedication and became the youngest candidate accepted into the university's medical program. Now, at 16, she confronted her greatest challenge. Back at the office, Marcus perpetuated his performance. The highlight was her requesting a safety report. He mimicked a shrill tone, as if she were some executive requiring formal documentation. Emma, the receptionist who'd observed everything, frowned. "Marcus, are you sure the check was counterfeit?" The girl appeared quite assured. "Emma, I've worked this industry 20 years. I've developed an eye for fraudsters. That girl is simply another attempting to exploit the system." Marcus didn't notice Emma discreetly recording the incident number and precise time. Something about Jasmine's grace had affected her, sensing this story remained incomplete. 3 blocks distant, Jasmine entered a cafe and opened her laptop. Her fingers danced across keys, composing an email to the Stevens Academic Foundation, detailing the situation and requesting a replacement check. This time, she included a specific instruction: please attach an official verification letter addressed directly to the bank president. She knew Marcus Bennett would celebrate his triumph several more hours. She'd allow him this moment of glory because when the tempest arrived, devastation would follow. At 6 p.m., Marcus departed the bank cheerfully. He uploaded an Instagram post captioned, "Another day safeguarding our institution from fraud attempts. Perpetual vigilance." He remained unaware this post would become evidence within 48 hours. Jasmine reached home at 6:30 p.m., a modest suburban 2-story home. Yet casual observers wouldn't detect the details. Professionally maintained landscaping, sophisticated yet subtle security systems, and 3 garage vehicles, including a Tesla Model S, her mother reserved for significant meetings. "How was your day, sweetheart?" her mother inquired, without lifting her gaze from the documents covering the dining table. "Enlightening," she answered, kissing her mother's cheek. "I experienced firsthand what you've always taught about confronting those who undervalue us." Her mother finally looked up, and Jasmine recognized a dangerous spark in her eyes for the first time that day. "Oh, darling, sometimes lessons require difficult teaching methods, and I suspect Mr. Marcus Bennett is about to receive life's most expensive education." That night, while Marcus Bennett slept soundly, envisioning his next advancement, 2 women labored silently. One, a 16-year-old prodigy, composing emails and arranging documents with veteran attorney precision. The other, her mother, contacting high-level contacts and arranging pre-dawn meetings. Every humiliation Marcus had inflicted only reinforced something within Jasmine he couldn't perceive: determination inherited genetically and forged through years of conquering obstacles. The arrogant man didn't comprehend that each contemptuous act drafted his own termination letter, and that undervaluing the wrong daughter could prove life's most expensive misjudgment. The following morning, Marcus Bennett arrived at work with an expanded smile. He'd slept wonderfully, envisioning his upcoming regional director promotion. During breakfast, he displayed the torn check image to his wife. "You should have seen her expression when I threatened police involvement," he laughed, sipping premium coffee. "These individuals must learn not to attempt deception." Marcus remained ignorant that, simultaneously, 3 blocks away, the housekeeper he'd mentioned so contemptuously occupied a 50-square-meter conference room atop the Thompson Digital Innovations corporate headquarters. Monica Thompson, CEO and founder of the nation's leading educational technology corporations, was completing document reviews that would permanently alter Marcus Bennett's future. "Mom," Jasmine entered the executive suite carrying 2 coffees. "Harvard confirmed they're sending a replacement check directly to the bank president with dean-signed authentication documentation." Monica smiled, though her eyes stayed frozen. At 42, she'd constructed an empire worth $340 million from nothing after becoming a single parent at 26. Jasmine represented her greatest pride, but also her strongest motivation to never permit anyone to undervalue a Thompson again. "Excellent," Monica responded, closing a contract. And the 3 p.m. meeting with Catherine Lee? Confirmed. She appeared quite concerned when you mentioned discrimination against minors at financial institutions, Jasmine replied, settling into the leather chair opposite her mother's desk. Monica had encountered Catherine Lee 5 years prior at a female executives conference. They'd maintained professional contact, though Catherine didn't realize the educational consultant, Monica Thompson, who occasionally corresponded, was actually Thompson Digital Innovations' CEO. She'd preserved this anonymity deliberately. Discretion's value remained unpredictable. While mother and daughter strategized calmly, Marcus Bennett enjoyed his week's finest day at the bank. 3 prominent clients had commended his stringent security after hearing about yesterday's prevented fraud. Emma, the receptionist, simply shook her head, disturbed by his transformation of humiliation into pride. "Marcus," Emma called as he passed, "are you positive the girl attempted fraud? She seemed confident." "Dear Emma," Marcus interrupted patronizingly, "you must develop better instincts. I can identify fraudsters instantly. That girl exemplified a textbook case." Marcus didn't observe the suited gentleman who'd entered and overheard everything. Dr. William Carter, civil rights attorney, had been retained by Monica yesterday morning. He subtly photographed Marcus's nameplate and documented the conversation time. 2 hours later, Monica and Jasmine sat in Dr. Carter's office reviewing legal strategies. "We have racial discrimination, minor humiliation, property destruction, and potential defamation," Dr. Carter enumerated, reviewing documents. "With security footage and the receptionist's testimony, we possess a strong case." "We seek more than litigation, Doctor," Monica stated firmly. "This must become an example. No child should endure my daughter's experience." Jasmine, previously silent, finally contributed. "Marcus Bennett must comprehend consequences exist for his actions, but importantly, the bank must reform policies." Dr. Carter smiled. Finding clients equally focused on social justice and personal vindication proved rare. "I propose an alternative," he suggested. "Rather than immediate litigation, we offer them an opportunity for proper action before publicity erupts." At 2:30 p.m., Marcus was peacefully lunching when the president's secretary called. "Mr. Bennett, Ms. Lee requires your immediate presence regarding yesterday's incident." Marcus frowned. Incident? He'd prevented fraud. Why would the CEO summon him? Perhaps for a personal commendation? Yes, certainly that. He ascended to the executive floor whistling, adjusting his tie. Entering the president's office, Catherine Lee sat behind her desk, wearing an expression he'd never witnessed. To her right sat an elegant woman in navy attire he didn't recognize. To his left, Jasmine Thompson. Marcus felt his blood crystallize. The girl sat wearing a simple white shirt and jeans, but something had changed in her bearing. She no longer appeared as an intimidated teenager. She appeared formidable. "Mr. Bennett, please be seated," Catherine commanded with blade-sharp precision. "Explain yesterday's interaction with this young woman." Marcus surveyed the room, confidence evaporating rapidly. I followed security procedures. The check appeared questionable." "That check," Jasmine interjected calmly, "covered my Harvard medical program tuition. I'm the youngest student ever admitted in university history." Catherine opened a folder, sliding documents forward. "These authenticate the check's validity, sent directly from Harvard's dean, accompanied by a rather unpleasant inquiry about why their student faced humiliation at our institution." Marcus felt trembling begin in his hands. He'd committed a horrible error, yet didn't fully grasp the situation's magnitude. Then, Monica Thompson rose and extended her hand to Catherine Lee. "Catherine, thank you for this prompt meeting. As discussed telephonically, such situations become quite problematic without proper handling." Catherine smiled for the initial time since Marcus entered. "Monica, I can't believe your daughter is the young woman involved." "Mr. Bennett," she turned with blazing eyes, "you have no concept whom you've humiliated, do you?" In that instant, Marcus Bennett understood he'd underestimated not merely a brilliant teenager, but an entire family possessing resources and connections beyond his imagination. And as tense silence filled the room, one question reverberated through his terrified consciousness. If this represented only a preliminary meeting, what else awaited? Truth was, Monica Thompson had constructed her empire precisely for such moments, ensuring her daughter would never encounter barriers she'd faced herself. Now, for the first time in 16 years of fierce protection, someone had crossed the boundary she'd drawn around Jasmine. Marcus Bennett would soon discover life contains consequences no banking manual could prepare anyone to confront. The silence shattered when Catherine Lee activated the wall-mounted 65-inch display. "Mr. Bennett, before proceeding, observe this." The screen displayed security camera footage from yesterday. Marcus watched, horrified, as his performance replayed in high definition, tearing the check, discarding pieces, making dismissive gestures. Crystal clear audio captured everything. "Young lady, how naive do you think I am?" His voice echoed through the executive suite. "Someone like you walking in here with a check of this magnitude." Marcus felt perspiration trail down his temple. I wasn't aware audio recording existed. All branches have possessed comprehensive monitoring systems for 2 years, Catherine replied icily. "But that's merely the beginning." Monica Thompson approached the panoramic windows. "Mr. Bennett, allow proper introduction. I'm Monica Thompson, CEO and founder of Thompson Digital Innovations. Perhaps you recognize our company. We developed the banking security systems you've just discovered record audio." Marcus's complexion drained entirely. Thompson Digital Innovations held $340 million contracts with banking networks nationwide. He'd heard the company mentioned countless times, never connecting it to the housekeeper he'd referenced so contemptuously. "That's impossible," Marcus whispered hoarsely. Catherine opened another computer file. Financial records show Monica Thompson owns 12% of First National Bank through her investment holdings. She's our third largest individual shareholder. Jasmine observed calmly as Marcus Bennett disintegrated before them. "Mr. Bennett," she spoke evenly, "your reaction yesterday wasn't novel to me. At 8, a principal declared girls like me lacked intellectual capacity for advanced programs. At 12, a teacher insisted I'd cheated on chemistry examinations. At 14, a counselor recommended realistic academic goals." Marcus attempted speech, producing only incoherent sounds. "But here's what's fascinating," Jasmine continued. "Each person recanted when results emerged. The advanced program I couldn't handle, I graduated valedictorian. The chemistry test I allegedly cheated on, state champion the following year. Unrealistic goals? Well, here we stand." Monica returned to the table, opening a folder. "Catherine, as you understand, our company maintains strict anti-discrimination policies. When partner institution employees commit blatant discrimination against my family, it becomes corporate concern." Catherine nodded solemnly. "Perfectly understood, Monica. Therefore," Monica proceeded, "I propose a solution benefiting all parties, except those proving themselves undeserving of consideration." Marcus finally managed words. "Please, I erred. Let me explain." "Explain calling my daughter fraudulent without investigation?" Monica asked calmly. "Explain assuming I was a housekeeper purely based on prejudice? Explain destroying official Harvard documentation from racial bias?" Dr. Carter, previously silent, finally spoke. "Mr. Bennett, I've prepared civil litigation for racial discrimination, minor humiliation, property destruction, and moral damages totaling $2.3 million. Filing occurs within 2 hours if necessary." Marcus felt his knees weaken. His $85,000 annual salary could never cover such compensation. His home, savings, everything would vanish. "However," Monica said, watching Marcus perspire heavily, "I mentioned an alternative proposal." Catherine leaned forward attentively. First, Marcus Bennett receives immediate termination for cause, forfeiting all benefits with permanent record notation regarding racial discrimination. Second, First National Bank implements mandatory anti-racism training for all personnel, funded by my company. Third, the bank establishes a $500,000 scholarship fund for underprivileged black students, administered through our foundation. Marcus opened his mouth to object, but Catherine raised her hand. The alternative, she stated coldly, involves litigation, federal discrimination investigation in financial institutions, and inevitable national publicity when media discovers how a bank manager humiliated the daughter of the CEO who saved this bank. Marcus Bennett then comprehended his mistake's true scope. He hadn't merely humiliated a brilliant teenager. He'd attacked the family of someone whose financial decisions could determine the bank's fate. Pure prejudice had destroyed his career. "I accept these terms," he whispered almost inaudibly. Monica smiled initially since entering. "Excellent. Catherine, please prepare documentation." As Marcus signed his resignation with shaking hands, Jasmine approached him finally. "Mr. Bennett, I hope someday you'll understand the issue wasn't that I didn't appear deserving of respect. The issue is you forgot everyone deserves respect, regardless of appearance." 20 minutes later, Marcus Bennett crossed the bank parking lot for the last time, carrying a box of personal effects. Inside lay the photograph he'd taken of the check pieces, now a bitter reminder how prejudice demolished his career within 24 hours. Outside, he watched Monica and Jasmine enter a Tesla Model S. For the first time, he noticed overlooked details: Monica's discreet Rolex, Jasmine's latest generation laptop, the confident bearing of women accustomed to achievement. Watching the vehicle depart, Marcus Bennett realized he'd learned life's most expensive lesson. Never judge books by covers, because you might be rejecting a masterpiece. But was applying this lesson too late? Can bridges burned by prejudice and arrogance ever be reconstructed? 6 months forward, Jasmine Thompson navigated Harvard's historic corridors in her pristine white coat, carrying anatomy texts weighing as heavily as her responsibilities as the university's youngest pre-med student. At barely 17 years old, she hadn't just survived her initial semester. She ranked among the top 10 students. "Jasmine," Professor Richard Chan called, molecular biology department head, "we need to discuss your research on genetics and racial healthcare disparities." The same research begun following the bank humiliation, studying how medical biases influence diagnoses and treatments. The work attracted nationwide attention, with 3 universities already extending graduate scholarship offers. Meanwhile, 1,000 miles distant, Marcus Bennett awoken in his studio apartment in the city's deteriorating district. At 53, he worked as a grocery store cashier, earning $12 hourly, less than his former daily bank manager income. The permanent discrimination record made financial institution employment impossible. 3 interviews concluded immediately upon discovering his history. The home, requiring 15 years to purchase, had been sold for legal fees from accumulating labor disputes following dismissal. "Marcus, cover register 3, his supervisor shouted, a woman 20 years younger, not bothering with courtesy. He represented just another replaceable employee who'd apparently lost life's direction. During breaks, Marcus occasionally searched Thomson Digital Innovations news. Monica's company had expanded 340% annually, entering international markets. She regularly appeared among the nation's most influential CEOs, presenting on educational technology and workplace diversity. The ultimate irony: his grocery store had recently installed Thomson Digital Innovations security systems. Each time he clocked in, he glimpsed the logo of the company he'd inadvertently helped elevate further. First National Bank, under new leadership influenced by Monica's proposed reforms, became a national financial inclusion model. The anti-racism program attracted study from other institutions, and the scholarship fund had already assisted 127 underprivileged Black students. Emma, the former receptionist witnessing Jasmine's humiliation, now directed the bank's customer service division. In a business magazine interview, she remarked, "Sometimes someone must pay for institutional ignorance, enabling collective learning." Marcus Bennett taught us